Hey.
Hi, guys. How are you? All right. Hey, Natalie.
I'm wearing my midnight shirt.
It's an awesome shirt.
It's my favorite shirt.
Hi, Beth. How are
Hi,
you?
Natalie. Hi, Beth.
Hey, Calvin. Hey, Stephen P. Kitty.
Stephen P. Kitty Mouse.
The Kitty Mamo.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, and we got a bunch of people over on Psycho Bunny Death Cult, as well as some over on Roots Bleed Red. So, welcome, guys.
Hey, Shelby.
Hey, Shelby. How are you?
Oh, nice. Beth is relaxing.
Nice.
Oh,
try to get that one. There we go. Nice. Always relaxing is always good. Hey, Ben. How are you?
Hey, Ben.
All right. So let's jump into this. I am going to do a few warnings because one of these guys, well, they're both pretty brutal, but one in particular is really bad. So definitely trigger warnings for explicit content. Also, because we are looking at a few other websites and stuff like that, I will also say that under the fair use, another author may make limited use of the original author's work without asking permission. Pursuant to 17 U.S. Code 107, certain uses of copyrighted material for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research is not an infringement on copyright. And last but not least, this video contains super awesome content not suitable for people who don't enjoy super awesomeness. So viewer discretion is advised.
I laugh at the fact that we keep putting that up because of what we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
This video has super awesomeness in it. It's like rape and murder and death. We're like, yeah.
So we are going to start with Juha Valjakkala.
It'd be awesome if his name
Valjakkala.
was like Yoo-hoo, you know.
It's not Yoo-hoo.
And he like loved chocolate milk.
So this is him with his totally awesome hair and stuff.
What the fuck is he holding? Is that a fucking sawed off?
It looks like a rifle.
Is he in prison?
I'm not sure.
Is he taking?
Is that his date?
Is that his prom date?
Is that his prison prom date? I don't know.
Yep.
So
he's finished.
He is finished.
I don't know when he finished, but he finished a while ago. But
so he now goes by Nikita Bergenstrom. He also has gone by Aslak Vladimir Ohanen and Nikita Joachim Fogantin.
What?
Yeah. So these are some of the other names he's gone by. He was born June 13th, 1965, and he was convicted of the triple murder of a family in northern Sweden in a location called Amsel. And
Natalie, what does he look like? Eddie Van Halen. I think every Finnish person looks like Eddie Van Halen.
wait, Beth. Why does he look like a heavy metal singer?
There's some actually pictures of him. I think he is a metalhead, and
he is. It's like very rare that we.
Well, the Scandinavian metalheads tend to get a little
more violent.
Violent.
Violenty.
Violenty. Vargvikernes.
I mean, honestly, even Oystein was not exactly the nicest person.
Oh, he was a douche.
He was a sociopath.
He was because they were both in on the church burnings and all that stuff.
Definitely.
He was definitely there, but man, he came up with a great sound.
God, both of them.
That detuned chainsaw sound for black metal, that all came from Oystein, freaking Euronymous.
Yep. All right, so Juha was born in Pori, Finland, and he was married a couple times, by the way.
We are doing well tonight.
We are, thank you.
We finally got our hands on an Xbox, so we're trying to get through this so we can go play Xbox.
I've been playing Mass Effect again, so.
Yeah.
Saw a documentary about the death metal bands from around the world. Dude, there's some pretty damn good bands.
There are a lot of good death metal bands around the world. The black metal bands, when you get into those documentaries, that's when you get some.
That's when they get some brutal awesomeness, and some.
Speaking of where are they now, Faust, who was Faust, who was in one of the founding members of Emperor, killed a man and got away with it for about a year or two, then turned around and bragged about it, and then got put in jail. He got out 20 years later, and he's touring. He's touring.
He's fucking touring.
He's the freaking drummer for he was one of the founding members of the band Blood Tsunami too.
Mm-hmm.
And he just does stuff like that.
Yeah. So okay, let's get into this. We're actually going to talk about multiple things tonight because as vicious as these people were, they're really hard to find information on. So we kind of just clumped it all together.
The thing is, they killed a man with a gun just to watch him die.
He did. I think he stabbed him. Faust.
No, but Natalie's referencing.
No, I know, but I'm
Johnny
saying,
Cash.
I'm.
Yeah, he stabbed him. What he did was he pulled him out into. He was at it. He went specifically to a gay bar in. Where was
Bergen?
Bergen? No, somewhere around. It was in.
I thought it was near Bergen.
It was yeah. It was well. You either have Bergen or Oslo for like the metal scene in Norway. Well, actually everywhere, but Bergen and Oslo at the time were the metal scenes in Norway, and he basically pulled him out. Not pulled him out. Basically, kind of like.
Go ahead.
Pulled him out or whatever he said.
He lured him.
He lured him. There you go. And then he got him out in the woods near a park and stabbed him to death. Well, and the thing is, like you said, he would have got away with it
because he was gay.
He wanted to murder somebody. And then part of that was that. But
he didn't like gay people.
Yeah. He also turned around and basically like for about a year or two, he was fine. Wasn't bragging about it, got away with it, and then he started bragging about it like all sociopath narcissists do, and then went to jail.
Pretty sure he's a psychopath.
I don't know.
But anyway, Shelby has some great news, by the way.
Uh-huh.
This June will be 5 years since my kidney transplant.
Nice.
Awesome. Congratulations. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow.
And then Natalie says, I'll be here all night.
That's what I pulled up when you were like.
No, because I was trying to tell that. You're like.
Just pulled that up.
I literally see that come up.
Okay.
I start reading it and it throws me off.
So we're going to get into the Amsel murders or Amsel. I don't know how to pronounce the A with a little circle on top.
Amsel. Yeah, Amsel. Amsel.
Okay. See, you did not help.
Amadeus.
This did not help. Carl, where the hell are you? I need some Swedish translation here.
I don't think he's not good enough to translate Norwegian. Or is it Sweden?
It's Swedish.
Oh, you're right.
In fact, watch this.
Okay.
Carl, I am tagging you.
We are really dark right now. Look at this.
That's fine.
There you go. We're back.
All right. I tagged Carl. Sorry, guys. I'm so glad. That is awesome. Honestly. I love that everyone's saying yay and congratulations. Natalie tagged him too. I need Swedish help. Okay. So Juha was born in Pori. The series of events that led to the murders began when the 22-year-old was released from prison in Turku on May 1st, 1988, after which he started wandering through Sweden and Finland with his 21-year-old girlfriend, Marita Rautalami.
You know, the crazy thing is, in my head, I always see Sweden to the west, Norway in the center, and Finland to the right. But it's your hair is like getting staticky from this. So is mine. But in reality, what is it? It's Norway, then Sweden, then Finland, right?
Something like that, yeah. So, on July 3rd, they arrived in Amsel. After nightfall, Juha stole a bike. He was then pursued by the owners, Sten Nilsson, and his 15-year-old son, Frederick. Then the chase ended at a cemetery where Sten and Frederick were both shot by Juha with a shotgun. Later, Sten's wife, Ewa, went looking for the two and was chased into the woods and had her throat slit by Juha outside the cemetery. So then Juha and his girlfriend Marita were caught in Odense, Denmark, just over the weekend, like a week later. Like it wasn't even that long.
I don't think there's much space between the sea right there, between Denmark and Finland and stuff like that, and Sweden.
What are these crazy long?
They have like a ferry or something that takes them across a couple times a day.
Hey, these are not that long. They're Juha, Ewa, Marita, Fredriksten. I mean, their last names are a little long.
They're different names.
Valjakkala.
Yeah.
And then Ruutalami. Those are the main person, Juha, and his girlfriend. And then the last names of the other people were just Nilsson.
So did his girlfriend get involved too?
Yes.
So she was actually part of the...
But she was talking about how he was psychopathic and how he was controlling and abusive and all this stuff. So at trial, the two defendants blamed each other, basically, for the murders. But the court believed Marita. And so a psychiatric evaluation actually found both to be completely mentally competent to stand trial.
Yeah. Well,
however, a statement by a forensic psychiatrist found that Juha suffered from psychopathy and was very aggressive. So conviction for the murders was his 12th criminal conviction.
Okay, this is where I know we were having a discussion earlier about like European and like Scandinavian prisons, and now like basically how like they're more actually geared toward rehabilitation.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's already had 12 prior incidents, this is where they messed up. He needs to be put away forever.
Juha was given a life sentence on 3 counts of murder, while Marita only received 2 years for being complacent in the assault and battery. So Marita was released after serving half of her time, so a year, and Juha was transferred to Finland to serve out the rest of his sentence. Well, he tried to escape in 1991.
Natalie says, isn't it Sweden or Norway that you have to prove that what you did to someone had to directly cause death, or in order to be charged with murder? They have some odd laws on that. Some stuff. I
can't remember, honestly. I know what you're talking about.
I think
we were watching this thing on prisons, and they did explain it.
I think it's Iceland. I think it is all of them.
But I want to say Norway mostly.
Well, they're, again, aside from a couple like this guy, Norway, Sweden, Scandinavian prisons are all geared toward rehabilitation. And just like in Switzerland, they have very strict not freedom of speech. What is it? Like freedom of self or something like that. Like they can't search. They can't do a lot of things like that. They take what we do here in America with search and seizures, and they go extreme with it. And they're like, unless you have proof, you can't even question people on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a very good thing.
Yeah, it is. And well, so in April of 1994, Juha fled the Riihimäki prison in Finland where he was being held. He took a teacher as a hostage, but he was apprehended nearby and the hostage escaped completely unscathed, which is crazy. So in 2002, he escaped from, Pyhäselkä.
Where are you at? I'm sorry.
Pyhäselkä prison, and traveled to Sweden with his wife and was captured after a large police operation in Längtrask.
Do you know what the hardest language in the world is to learn?
Chinese.
Finnish.
Mandarin.
Nope, Finnish. It is actually Finnish because it's so close to Russia and Asia, and they take from, I think, all 3 of them, and it all comes together, and it's like incredibly hard to learn. So
I need to confirm something.
Oh, and also like it takes from like Old English, like where Norwegian and Sweden takes it.
So his wife, I believe at the time.
You can ask one of the Russian bots right here to ask.
I know.
We have a Russian bot.
Another Russian bot. Hey, can you help me translate this?
Norris, can you actually use your Russian language to help us translate this? I know you're a bot.
It's not Russian, but
or whatever you
This
are.
isn't Russian. No, this.
Oh, I mean Finnish.
Carl, help us!
Carl! There he is! Finnish has 15 verb conjugation. I can't even pronounce
Conjugations.
That. Conjugations.
Conjugation.
Carl, I'm right on that, right? Finnish is the hardest language in the world to learn.
At the time, he was married to Mina Maria Huttinen, and he and his wife actually fled And here we go. Here we go.
And this is at the time too when
and traveled to Sweden.
I think this is at the time. When did the European Union? When was it made?
This
like
is 2002.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I was thinking like 80s. Like I was
No.
like, this is at a time where extradition is actually kind of hard.
It's essentially an Asian language, and it's insane.
Yeah,
is what he says.
It's Old English, it's Russian, it's Asian, all of it just put together.
So in 2002, he escaped from Pyhäskala prison and traveled to Sweden with his wife. What?
No, I'm just laughing that we're both like going, how do you I can
it's not that. It's the squigglies that bother me.
Oh, I was like, I
can read it.
I was like, I'm with you. I can't pronounce the shit.
Okay, so in 2002, he escaped from Pyhäskala and traveled to Sweden with his wife and was captured because of a large police operation in Lingtrask. Upon returning to prison after the 2002 escape, he tried to commit suicide by hanging himself in the cell, but it didn't work. They caught him. They cut him down. So his next escape was in 2004 from Sukeva prison, and it lasted 19 minutes.
Wait, his escape?
Yes.
Lasted 19 minutes. So
19 minutes.
Is he a premature escaper?
Well, he made it only 1 kilometer away from the prison walls before he was caught.
This is Natalie. This is why I could never get past chapter 2 of Saga of the Icelanders.
Longtresk. Thank you.
Longtresk.
No. Longtresk.
No, I'm gonna.
Why are you butchering it with?
I'm gonna butcher it so I could get Carl's OCD going.
Getting mine going. Hey Zool.
Hey Zool.
How are you? All right. So this one lasted only 19 minutes, and he only got 1 kilometer away from the wall. So just after midnight on November 28th, 2006.
Just after midnight, the band was playing.
Juha escaped for the 4th time, and this time from a labor prison in Hamina.
Can I bring this up real fast? Is Carl speaking
Swedish chef?
Is he speaking?
That's Swedish chef.
What is? I don't know what that means.
Ferk your burden.
We're all with you.
I think he's talking about something else I mentioned.
Something else. What's going on here?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's still up there.
Oh.
You're not creepy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
We like the creepy people around here. That's why we do this.
He's gonna let it all hang out. So let's try this again. So just after midnight on November 28th, 2006, Juha escaped for the 4th time, and this time from a labor prison in Hamina. He was captured on the evening of November 30th, 2006 by a police readiness unit in Karhurihama. Yeah, no, this is not working.
Did Carl get into Carl? Did you get into some Mary Jane? What is pot us? What is that?
POTUS.
What pot us?
POTUS.
I'm kidding, Carl. I'm kidding.
Carl, I'm sending this. What the hell does this say?
Can you write it slowly enough for us to pronounce it?
So this is the location.
We can't pronounce it.
In Malnula, Helsinki. Let's just say, a prison in Helsinki.
We can say Helsinki. That's a cool word. That's a cool name.
So police assaulted the apartment in which he was suspected to be hiding out. And Juha was captured without resistance. So after the incident, Juha went back to closed prison. What? Back to closed prison? What?
Well,
Oh! He was not allowed to have any time away. Whereas
he wasn't allowed to go on work details or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like Varg Vikernes did.
Why do you always say that?
It's stuck in my head.
His name is Varg.
I know it's Varg, and I know it's a Varg.
Actually, his name is Christian in real life, but
Christian.
He changed it to Varg Vikernes.
Yeah, Christian. What was something I can't remember. But no.
Squirreling.
They had their work details and all that stuff, and they were allowed to leave and stuff like that. But he fucked up a lot to not be able to have that.
Okay, come on.
Karharume.
Okay.
Karharume. Okay.
What are we doing? Why are we here? Yeah, I don't know now.
Natalie, it sounds perfectly fine with my free crack pipe.
Okay. Anyway, so you squirreled me here.
Wait, hold on.
No.
Okay.
So again, he escaped from Karharume in Helsinki. He was captured in an apartment without any resistance, and he went back to the prison, and they didn't let him do any more work detail. So after this, Juha Valjakkala changed his name to Nikita Joachim Faugantin in 2008, and later to Nikita Bergenstrom in 2013.
But he got out in 2000.
Well,
we're going to get to that right now. Sorry.
Having served 19 years in prison, then known as Faugantin, he was due to be released on parole on July 1st, 2008. He was then released on February 25th, 2008 instead. He was arrested again April 12th, 2008 for breaking his release terms. Among other things, he was endangering the traffic, stealing a vehicle, driving a vehicle without a license, driving an unlicensed taxi, and he actually admitted to all these offenses. So then he married his wife in May of 2008. Her name is Alexandra. And at this time, he was going by the last name of Faugantin.
Natalie, what are we doing and why are we here?
I already pulled that up.
I had a moment.
You keep squirreling. Okay, so yeah, he married his wife Alexandra, and in December 2008, the Supreme Court of Finland decided that he would be released with a suspended sentence on February of 2009. So then he was paroled again on February 2nd, and he said he was writing an autobiography. So on November 23rd, 2011, he escaped from his parole prison.
I'm so confused. They have
Kerava.
They have prisons that you go to for parole?
I guess it's more of like a halfway house, I think. It's kind of like a halfway house.
So basically they leave, and instead, like, where our halfway houses are like 6 months to adjust people back into society, which actually
there's probably like a year or
there's
so.
like a year or two.
Yeah. Well, so on December 1st, he was found in Valila in Helsinki. It's not believed that he committed any crimes during his escape this time.
Well, he hasn't done he's still out right now.
So I remember, Carl says, I remember this guy. He was infamous. The world's worst criminal. What's worse than being a petty crook? Sucking at it. Actually, he's not a petty crook. He is a murderer.
Is it that he sucks at it, or is it that the system, even though we were saying earlier, or I said earlier, like I was like, I do kind of like the actual rehabilitation aspect of like Scandinavian prisons and like European prisons.
Norway was pretty interesting.
Yeah, Norway. Norway. Sorry, Carl. But is this one of those guys that actually, like, the system, by releasing them so much and giving him so much freedom, it's like, no, he actually should either
care.
He should actually, because he doesn't care. He should either been put to death or just stuck in a mental ward somewhere.
But they don't really. He should have been in a mental ward.
They don't have it. I don't think they have the death penalty in Sweden or Norway.
They don't. But I was saying the mental ward.
Yeah, he should definitely at least been stuck in a mental ward.
Yeah, getting out of jail a lot, right?
Yeah.
So, I lost where I was. All right. So he didn't really commit any crimes during this time. So let's go into the media. In 1991, Swedish director Jan Troell directed a film based on the Amsel murders, and it was called Il Capitano. It's I-L, Il Capitano.
The Sick Captain? Would that be it?
Not I-L-L. I-L.
Oh. Look, the only Swedish movie I really
Maybe he got excited about being apprehended.
Well, he actually is showing signs of being an adrenaline junkie and stuff like that, like the Gainesville Ripper, stuff like that, like where the Gainesville Ripper was constantly in berserk mode because he was just there for the thrill of the adrenaline and stuff like that. That might be what's going on with him.
Okay, so Nikita Bergenstrom is actually credited as Juha Valjakkala and the girl who played with fire in a comparison between criminals and profiles.
Oh.
So the 18th episode of the Danish television drama Risa Hold It Risa Hold It is based on the Amsel murders.
Can we please watch Danish soap operas?
I think so.
I think we'd have some fun with that.
So that's pretty much it for Juha. He's out.
Well, the one
He's
thing,
free.
So they do have a real life sentence, but it's reserved for absolutely worst criminals. Which
she's asking that.
Oh,
not stating that
he was given life in prison, but
he was paroled.
I'm guessing that is because he broke out so much that they just commuted his life sentence. Said, please don't do this again, and finally, like he finally isn't doing any more crime.
Beth says, "Oh my goodness, he sounds like someone who should have been put in a loony bin and stayed there." Absolutely. And Carl says, "No, in Sweden you get less than 20 or a non-time determined, which can be determined later." I've actually seen that happen before.
Oh, so you gotta mess up real bad to get non-time determined. Then.
But even then, it's still not life.
Yeah, because like Norway is 20+1 years, no matter what. You can't spend any more time in there.
No, I did not say girl with the dragon tattoo.
But the girl who played with fire is in that series, which I love.
I said the girl who played with fire. But yes, it is that series.
The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is one of the Swedish version and the American version. One of my favorite movies ever. What's her face? Who played in the new Prometheus, which is the prequel to Aliens.
He committed a triple homicide, and they were brutal.
Yeah,
and that's why he was given life, but then it was commuted.
He came into Sweden from Finland and then just committed the crimes.
All right, so we're gonna go to commercial, and then we're gonna talk about this jolly fella right here.
Yeah, this guy.
It's brutal.
This guy is actually out right now, living his life after what he did.
He could be here for all we know.
No, I don't think he is.
But, well, I mean.
Well, we'll see.
Our borders and stuff.
Who knows?
So we're going to go to commercial, if I can ever freaking find it.
Lower. Right there.
I thought I moved it up. I'm moving this up. So, okay. We are going to go to commercial. We'll be right back.
This is Mikey from Out of the Ordinary, and you're watching PBDC TV.
Oh, hi. First thing in the morning, when I'm listening to music and getting a little bit of time for some creepy research, I'm always representing with my PBDC merch. What a better way to have a cup of coffee in the morning.
Don't forget to check out our other cool merch at rootsbleedred.com. That's rootsbleedred.com.
This is Professor Edgar Fluffosaurus from Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat, and when I'm not hosting Monster Chat or knocking down small Japanese cities, I'm watching PBDC TV. Now back to the show.
All right, so I am going to have to do a trigger warning one more time here, because the next subject is pretty brutal. So discretion is advised. Okay, so
girl with the political tattoo.
Okay.
Girl with the political tattoo.
Okay,
Sorry.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is political porn written by a guy who saw Nazis everywhere. His buddies were actual political versus aggressors. He also used his Swedish military training as a mortarman to train Eritrean
rebels to fight.
Eritrean. To fight the Ethiopians.
You know,
and Sicko and Dead.
the thing is, though,
Still a good movie.
it's
Sorry.
still a good series, and a lot of good series come from crazy people. No,
Oh
joke.
yeah.
It's weird that way.
All right, so we are getting into.
I mean, look at what's his face, Harvey Weinstein and all that stuff, who produced a shit ton of good movies, but he is a nutso rapist.
All right, so we are getting into Pedro Lopez, this smiling guy right here. You look at him and you're like, wow, what could he have done?
He did some fucked up shit.
Yeah. Such as, murdering upwards of 350 people.
They proved 100.
No, they proved more than that.
No, they actually, the one thing when you get here, they actually proved 106.
110.
100, sorry, okay. Whatever it was over 100, and they proved that he murdered over 100 little girls. So here we go.
Okay, so Pedro Alonso Lopez was born October 8th, 1948. He is a Colombian serial killer, child molester, and necrophile who murdered a minimum of 110 young girls between 1969 and 1980, and claims to have murdered over 350 across Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador. He was released from a Colombian asylum in 1998. His whereabouts are currently unknown. So, aside from unsighted local accounts, Lopez's crimes first received international attention from an interview conducted by Ron Leitner, a lifetime freelance photojournalist who reported interviewing Lopez in his Ambato prison cell in 1980. So Leitner's interviews were widely published, first in the Chicago Tribune on Sunday, July 13th, 1980, then Toronto Sun, and then Sacramento Bee on July 21st, 1980, and over the years in many other North American papers and foreign publications, including the National Enquirer. Apart from Leitner's account and two brief Associated Press wire reports, the story was published in The World's Most Infamous Murders by Bohr and Blundell, and has found its way into many serial murder anthologies, both in print and online. According to Leitner's story, Lopez became known as the Monster of the Andes in 1980 when he led police to 53 graves in Ecuador. The victims were all girls 12 years of age. In 1983, he was found guilty of the murder of 110 girls in Ecuador. He further confessed to an additional 240 murders in Peru and Colombia.
But he was going between countries during during when we had like the CIA and everything going in, and during the drug wars and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
During their civil wars and all that stuff, and all the South American countries. And he was able to get away with so much stuff because of it.
Yeah, Natalie says that she vaguely remembers this happening.
Yeah.
And also that Roman Polanski did great films, but he was a douche canoe. Yeah.
I can argue that what turned him into a douche canoe is Charlie Sharon Tate and what Tex and the other two girls did to her.
Yeah, but still,
that was his baby that they murdered, and it before that he wasn't that messed up
that we know of. But after that, it screwed him up completely. So let's get into Lopez's early life. So Lopez's mother was Belinda Lopez de Castaneda. According to Lopez, witnessing acts of prostitution while growing up had disturbing effects on his psyche. Subsequently, his mother caught him fondling his younger sister in 1957 when he was 8 years old and evicted him from the family home. Pedro, who was reportedly the seventh child among 13 siblings, was polite as a boy and wanted to be a teacher, according to his mother. Following this, the 8-year-old Pedro Lopez had fled to Bogota, which is the capital city in Colombia. Mm-hmm. So soon afterwards, he said he had been abducted by a man and raped. At the age of 12, Pedro was taken in by a U.S. immigrant family and enrolled in a school for orphans. He ran away after 2 years.
It was at the time
he ran away after 2 years because he was being molested by a male teacher. Other sources claim that he ran away with the teacher. And by the age of 18, Lopez was making a living by stealing cars and selling them to local chop shops.
I actually do remember this. So getting back to the mother being a prostitute,
mm-hmm.
It wasn't like she was taking guys to the next room. They only had a 1-bedroom place.
Yeah.
It was a studio, not a studio, but that's all it was a shack.
Yeah.
She was having sex with these men in front of him. Literally in front of him to pay bills and stuff like that. And then the family that took him in, it was during the time when Americans would go down there and live and stuff like that, like especially like in Panama and stuff like that, because of our military bases. They basically took him in, and it was almost like just to show, hey, look, we have money, we're going to help you out. And then they basically put him in an orphanage, and then just left him there.
Yeah. So I'm also getting the feeling that he's just trying to claim all these things happened to him to try to give him some kind of sympathy. But I'm sorry.
Well,
this does not twist into, you should kill little 12-year-old girls. I'm sorry.
That is very common among serial killers. It's the reason why I did this is because, when they say stuff like that, well, it's literally the logic of you shouldn't have been dressed that way. That's the reason why I killed you. That's the reason why I raped and killed you. It's like, no, dude, maybe you should have actually sought therapy for what you did. But this person, there really wasn't that there for him.
I know. So Lopez claimed that during his incarceration for car theft, he was brutally gang raped, and that subsequently, while he was still in prison, he hunted down the most brutal of his rapists and killed them. He said that after being released from prison, he moved to Peru and started murdering young girls. He claims that by 78, he had killed over 100 girls before being caught and captured by members of the indigenous tribe. These captors were preparing to execute him when a missionary from the U.S. intervened and persuaded them to hand him over to the state police. However, the police released him pretty quickly.
They literally drove him out. They went in there, everything was going on. He was practically tied to a stake, and they were getting ready to burn him at the stake.
Yeah.
The missionary literally came in there, saved him, put him on the back of a motorcycle with them, drove him outside of town, and he got off the motorcycle and just went into the jungle.
Lopez said that he subsequently returned to Colombia and later moved to Ecuador. During this period, he claimed that he killed about 3 girls a week. Mm-hmm. And Lopez said, I like the girls in Ecuador. They're more gentle and trusting, more innocent. So Natalie just said, this was a time when psychology was all about blaming parents and completely nullifying personal responsibility.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that were
born
around the same time he was, and it was really like that 70s, 80s, like mid 80s, really, when they were like, "Oh, it's not your fault. Your parents fucked you up," and now you have a bunch of narcissists running around because of it.
There is only one serial killer that I actually will say it was his mother's fault, and that's Edmund Kemper.
Edmund Kemper, yeah.
But other than that, even that was like, when you listen to Edmund Kemper talk, it's like, all right, dude. If you knew that you're angry at all this stuff, you should have went and got therapy and not raped and murdered like 10 different people, including your mother and her friend.
So Beth says, oh, wow, they should have just let the natives get him. Yeah. It would have saved a lot of lives, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So Lopez was arrested when an attempted abduction failed and he was trapped by market traders. The Associated Press reported that he was arrested in March of 1980 and that he confessed to killing 103 girls, including 53 whose bodies had been found. So, in January of 1981, he was convicted of 3 murders and had confessed to 300 sexual assaults and stranglings. The police believed he only confessed because a flash flood uncovered a mass grave containing many of his victims.
Well, the crazy thing is, though, at the time, especially in the 80s, the early 80s, this is when Panama and all those other stuff are really getting fired up, and Pineapple Head Noriega, or Pineapple Face, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that really is an excuse, because there's so many bodies everywhere, so many mass graves and stuff like that. I don't think it really mattered to him. I think he just got caught and told him about it.
So, according to CNN, Lopez was arrested in 1980, but was freed by the government in Ecuador at the end of 1998. In an interview from his prison cell, Lopez described himself as the man of the century and said he was being released for good behavior. And an A&E biography documentary reported that he was released from an Ecuadorian prison on August 31st, 1994, then rearrested as an illegal immigrant and handed over to Colombian authorities, who charged him with a 20-year-old murder. He was declared insane and held in the psychiatric wing of the Bogota hospital. In 1998, he was declared sane and released on $50 bail, subject to certain conditions. He later absconded. The same documentary says that Interpol released an advisory for his rearrest by Colombian authorities over a fresh murder in 2002. He is currently wanted by the police, and his whereabouts are unknown as of 2022.
They think, so what happened with him, there was a weird, so was it Bogota is in Peru, right? Or
Colombia,
or Peru and Colombia, all of them changed a lot of their laws with their with death penalty and life imprisonment, and he didn't get grandfathered in because they're like, okay, this is for all prisoners. They saw that it was time to release him, and the detectives and everything like that, all these prosecutors, they knew that if we release him, he's going to murder again. So that's why they got him an illegal immigration.
Mm-hmm.
They turned around and that happened. And basically what happened was he just went out in the jungle and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
He's
out there. He's either
killing. They don't know if he could be dead because he is 78 and it's South America and you're not going to last long in the jungle. Hey, Angie. But he could be alive. He could be literally alive in Argentina. He can be alive in Chile. He can be alive in Brazil. All these places, it's all just connected. Just huge amounts of spans of space where it's easy for him to get around.
Beth says they should have never released him. Absolutely.
No, they should have just murdered him is what happened. But South America doesn't have the death penalty or anything like that.
So we are now going to talk about 10 paroled serial killers and murderers. Ready? I don't know why I didn't save all these images ahead of time.
It's fine. I just put it up here just in case we went through this fast, which we did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We got about 10 more minutes. So we can get through a couple of these guys here real fast.
This is Kenneth McDuff. I just spit everywhere.
Kenneth
This is Kenneth McDuff. Look at that charming.
He's very
fella.
friendly.
Yeah.
They didn't even bother to put him in front of the height thing. They just put him in front of a Venetian blind.
Pretty much. And let me go over here real fast. Why is it doing that?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh, damn that voodoo curse. We were sick. I was sick.
It's a voodoo curse.
I had the flu. I got over it. We're good.
Yeah.
There are a lot of weird cults in South America too. Yeah, we're going to touch base on one of them too.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff based around Palo Mayombe, Santeria, the vast majority of Palo Mayombe is Santeria are actually.
Okay.
They're really good people.
So, Kenneth Allen McDuff was paroled, not so he could adjust to life, not to reduce recidivism, and certainly not because he no longer posed a threat to public welfare. He was paroled to reduce prison crowding.
Oh.
So, from 1966 to 1992, he committed between 9 to 22 murders. In Texas, McLennan County Sheriff Parnell McNamara described McDuff as a cold-blooded psychopathic killer who was more evil than the devil himself, concluding that he should never have been released, and McDuff was on death row for murdering 3 teenagers in 1966, but his sentence was reduced to life with the with the possibility of parole in 1972, and he was released in 1989. In 1990, the parole board had a chance to send him back to prison after McDuff was arrested for chasing and threatening black teenagers. But neither of his actions nor the racial invective he expressed in his parole hearing returned him to the prison cell, and he killed at least 3 women between his release on parole and his return to prison in 1992 for abducting and murdering a convenience store clerk named Melissa Northrop and accountant Colleen Reed. He never expressed remorse for any of his crimes. He was finally executed by lethal injection in 1998.
So Texas had all these people who had who were like convicted of just basically like straight up pot crimes, marijuana and stuff like that, that they could have cleared their prisons out, but they let a psychopath out, and he ended up killing 3 or 4 more people.
Oh yeah, I think it was actually 5 total.
Yeah, you could have let the stoner who had an 8th or whatever it is.
Could have just like chilled out. All he had was a gram, whatever.
He had a gram on him, and all of a sudden you guys kept him in there because pot is bad in Texas.
Whatever. So now we're going to talk about Lauren Herzog. Look at that guy. Look at that hair.
He's wearing a wig. That's got to be a wig.
That's not a wig.
If he did his hair right, that's some good looking hair.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm
Nice.
glad you're feeling better too.
That's awesome.
We don't even know how many people this guy may have knocked off. Yeah.
Oh, the who was that? I'm
The last guy.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay. What a mullet. Yeah.
You right?
So, Lauren Herzog, California speed freak killer.
Is that hockey hair or is that?
It's hockey hair.
Or is that?
I've got an ape drape. Yes,
Yeah.
I do. They're giving them to everyone, and that means you. You can go to Riverside and get one too.
What was the
And you
French
can
one?
have an ape drape like I do. I don't remember. I got achy breaky hair. Yes, I
That's
do.
from Tennessee, right?
Yep.
He's got achy breaky hair. That's
She said Billy Ray Cyrus. Yes. Okay.
all right.
Anyway, so Lauren Herzog's last victim appears to have been himself.
Oh, he committed suicide.
After having committed a number of murders with Wesley Shermantine, a friend of his since childhood, Herzog was sentenced to 78 years to life for murdering and raping Cindy Vanderheiden.
So how did he get out though?
So in 2004, an appeals court found that Herzog's confession may have been coerced and ordered a new trial for him. When offered a plea deal, he agreed to plead guilty to manslaughter in exchange for a 14-year sentence. He was paroled in September of 2010. 2 years later, the parole agent who monitored him continuously using GPS found his tracking bracelet had a low battery. When Herzog failed to answer his telephone, the agent notified the police, who found him dead inside his trailer that he inhabited on a fenced-off property grounds outside of the prison.
How long was he?
So police investigated the death as a possible suicide. So the motive for his apparent suicide seems to have been his knowledge that Shermantine intended to tell police where the bodies of their victims were located. Sacramento bounty hunter Leonard Padilla had relayed this information to Herzog shortly before he killed himself. It's possible he and Shermantine may have faced charges for additional homicides, depending on the number of identities of the bodies authorities recovered based on Shermantine's information.
Wow.
Hey, Alan!
Hey, Alan, what's going on?
How are you?
How are you?
All right, so let's go on to number 8. Michael Keith Moon. Look at this fella here. So let's get that up there for you guys. Michael Keith Moon. Here you go. Look, his eyes are really close together. His nose is shaped weird.
He's almost got that small mouth up by his nose. Look at that shit.
Ew. I know what you're referring to. So,
Little. Hey, you got the small mouth right there. You know, you got the little small foods for you. Hey, look at you, stupid bastard, taking a piss right now.
so this career criminal
I swear to God, I thought you were going to say Korean. I was like, he's not Korean.
Criminal Michael Keith Moon had several chances to reform. In 1981, he was convicted of stabbing a woman to death in Reno, Nevada. After his release from prison in 91, he was convicted of attempted murder for repeatedly stabbing a man in a bar in Woodstock, Illinois. He was released in 2005. 3 years later, he was convicted of second-degree murder after killing a 24-year-old man in Escondido, California.
Where's Escondido? Isn't it up north?
It's down south. It's near San Diego.
Oh,
Or it's on the way to San Diego.
A whale's vagina.
So, in 2014, he was again granted parole and began living in a halfway house in downtown San Diego. Escondido detective Chuck Gaylor believes that Moon committed other murders between this time in Reno and his latest arrest, and is more likely a serial killer.
What?
Hey, Richard!
Hey, Richard! Well, yeah, it's a thrill killing for him. It sounded like it was. So
Yeah, oh, definitely. So, now we're getting on to Louis Van Schuer.
I think this will be our last one. We're almost done here.
I could probably get through a couple more.
Oh, if you want to.
Yeah, let's just try to finish this one. We have people here. Let's do this. So Louis Van Schuer, or Louis Van Schuer, whichever you want to say. Look at this guy. So he is a South African serial killer. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison for committing 7 murders and attempting 2 others. He was later released in 2004 after serving 12 years, walking straight into the arms of his fiancée, lawyer Eunice de Cock of Cape Town.
I'm sorry. She's the cock of Cape Town.
Eunice.
Wait, he's gay?
I don't know.
Lawyer. Eunice is, I think, a female name.
No, his lawyer said that.
Oh!
That he went straight into the arms of his fiancée. So, responding to silent alarms in business, Van Schuer, a member of the police canine unit and a security guard at the time of the murders, said he shot as many as 100 people between 1986 and 1989. Van Schuer said he was glad to be back in society and hoped people would judge him by his future behavior rather than his past crimes. Initially, he had nothing to say to his victims' families, but he later conceded that he would appreciate their forgiveness.
What a psychopath right there. But he didn't commit any more, well, that we know of.
That we know of. That is what happens when you do crack.
Yeah.
He looks like somebody's grandfather. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He kind of looks like super old Sean Connery. I mean, Sean Connery.
The last thing I ever heard from Sean Connery was something for the Wounded Warrior Project or something like that, or for Fallen Soldiers,
something like that.
And it was a radio ad, and it was even sad to hear like him being that old and weak or feeble in his voice, because Sean Connery is just such a badass. He was.
He absolutely
loved him.
was.
I love the fact that he was Sean Connery in every single film.
So
Destination.
Here we go. William Huff.
He looks like he's about
and
to
that's
huff.
from Eyewitness 5 News, by the way, guys. And William Huff here, calling himself the Phantom. He was a serial killer. He murdered 7-year-old Cindy Cleland, 6-year-old Janelle Haynes, and targeted the 3rd girl before he was arrested. The murders took place in Sierra Vista, Arizona. And on April 30th, 1967, Cindy had been collecting bottles to exchange for her candy in her neighborhood store. Following discovery of Cindy's naked body on May 2nd, the police received a handwritten note. I am the Phantom. You have found my first victim. My next victim lives on Stephen Street, 9 years old. Fools! Yeah.
Okay.
When police provided the targeted girl with a 24-hour protection, Huff apparently decided to kill Janelle instead. A colonel's daughter. She was playing by a pond near the Lakeside Officers Club on June 22nd when Huff abducted her. Later that day, Janelle's body, like Cindy's, was found naked. Police had already suspected Huff, a neighborhood teenager at the time. Following Janelle's murder, Sierra Vista Police Chief C. Reed Vance saw Huff leaving the Army post at which the Officers Club was located. A handwriting sample obtained from Huff matched the note from the Phantom. Upon conviction for the girl's murder, Huff was sentenced 15 years for one homicide and 40 for another. In 2005, the parole board voted unanimously to grant him parole. And in 2006, he began living under house arrest in a halfway house in Tucson.
How?
Ellen Kirschbaum, who chaired the parole board, said she couldn't predict whether Huff might murder someone else.
Why? I'm sorry. You have... I'll say this again. You have these people who literally got put in jail for pot, for weed, or whatnot, or maybe for like punching someone, or something along those lines. And these guys literally get released, and you have someone on the parole board saying maybe he'll kill again, maybe he won't. I don't know.
Unanimous, yeah.
I was like, how is this guy even out here? He should have been. It's Arizona. He should have been put on death row and killed.
Oh yeah. So Alan said that the image of that dude reminds me of Deliverance.
Yeah.
Beth says she saw this on the news.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane. It's even insane to think about that. Think about this.
He's more awake than me.
What? Why? Why would?
No, this one. He's more. I said. It says Frank. I think you need some beer to wake you up.
I'm drinking right now. I have allergies.
Natalie
right
says, "What? Why? Why would you release people like that? I don't know.
Why?
Terrifying."
Like I said, you have all these other non-violent crimes that you can parole people on, but you parole this guy.
So number 5, Vernon Tatum. They don't actually have a picture. They just have a stock photo. So in 2017, after serving 13 years for raping and murdering several elderly women, serial killer Vernon Thomas was paroled for good behavior while incarcerated. After living in a halfway house downtown, Tatum planned to return to Kansas City, Missouri, the neighborhood in which he actually committed his crimes. Local police were disturbed that the thought that the killer would soon be back among them. He's one of the most dangerous individuals I have ever dealt with, said police detective Lester Scott.
Oh.
Nadine,
what's going on? We could actually talk about the Shawcross.
I thought we did already.
We have. I think we need to redo Shawcross because we had whatever.
Yeah. So we're going to touch base right now on Arthur Shawcross.
Actually,
this is number 4.
We're going to touch base on him, I think, next week because we combined both.
Here you go.
We combined both episodes from next week to this week because
they were short.
So we just combined them both. And now next week we're going to be back on the serial killer binge. So
this is Arthur Shawcross. Like we got off the serial killer binge?
We kind of did. I don't know. We have.
Not really.
Well, Hexus and Akala are doing their own thing.
Yeah. So Arthur Shawcross began his career as a serial killer at the age of 27 in 1972. When he killed a 10-year-old boy he lured into the woods on the pretext of going fishing with him. The same year, he sexually assaulted and murdered an 8-year-old girl whom he led to a deserted area as he showed her a new bicycle. Mm-hmm. Arrested after eyewitnesses identified him as the man they had seen with the children, Shawcross confessed to both murders, but in a plea deal, he was charged only with 1 count of manslaughter. Because he was a model prisoner, he was paroled after serving 14 years of his 25-year sentence. And his criminal records were sealed. So, settling in Rochester, New York in 1988, Shawcross resumed murdering victims, asphyxiating, and mutilating prostitutes. Mm-hmm. A helicopter pilot spotted him near a murder scene, and he was arrested. He admitted to 10 murders and was sentenced to 250 years in prison.
It's one of the ones where he should have been. It was a technicality that I think got off on, like whatever. And the people where they were trying to release him to actually knew who Shawcross was, and that's why they released him in Rochester.
The justice system is dumb. Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hi, Kenneth.
How are you? So, oh no, it's Michael Myers.
Oh,
we do not know what he looks like, but Michael Myers.
Yep. I think we're over time.
We're almost done. Let's go through this. We have like 2 more after this. So, Louise Pete. Here you go. This is her. If you squint, it's a little clearer.
If you squint, she looks
better.
No, she doesn't.
So, after serving 18 years for the murder of Jacob Charles Denton on June 2nd, 1920, Louise Pete was paroled. She was arrested again in 1944 after the decomposing body of Margaret Logan, age 60, was found in a 46 centimeter deep grave, which was an 18-inch deep grave, in her Pacific Palisades, California backyard.
Guys, if you're going to dig a grave, 6 feet or more.
So she admitted to burying Margaret's body, but she refused to say anything else. In a written statement, Pete later claimed Margaret's husband, Arthur, had shot his wife to death after first attacking Margaret. Pete said she waited for Arthur to retire for the night before burying the dead woman in the Logan's backyard, afraid she'd be convicted of Margaret's murder and returned to prison if the body was discovered. Tried for Margaret's homicide, Pete was found guilty of murder in the first degree and sentenced to death. Prosecutors proved Arthur couldn't have killed his wife. At the time of Margaret's murder, he was already dead, having passed away in the insane asylum prior to the discovery of Margaret's body.
Did she fake a letter or something like that?
No.
Oh.
She wrote a letter. This is a statement. She had said that Margaret's husband killed her. So Pete was executed in San Quentin prison in the gas chamber, April 11th, 1947. The motives for her crimes were monetary. By shooting her victims, she hoped to gain their estates. As she was about to be executed, she told the prison's warden, Clinton T. Duffy, "I've been ready for a long time."
Was it Bonin that was the first one to be of lethal injection?
Yes.
In the United States? Or
yes.
Was it, yeah, that's crazy.
I think just in California.
Okay.
So, this is a killing couple. Let's get to some of the comments real fast. That's all, folks. That's not. We're not done yet.
No, we got 2 more.
Hey, Paul, do you shoot her? No, son. She was just looking down the barrel. I don't know what exactly happened. Darth Vader did it. All right. So this is Gerald Gallego and Charlene Williams. I do remember this one.
I don't.
We've touched base on this once. So this is number 2 on the list, by the way. Gerald Gallego was twice paroled before committing multiple sexual assaults and 10 murders. He was paroled in July 1961 after serving less than a year in a boys' school for committing lewd and lascivious acts with a 6-year-old girl, and again in 1963 after serving about 2 years for an armed robbery he committed in 61. After 5 marriages in which he abused his wives, Gallego met Charlene Adele Williams at a poker club in Sacramento, California. Together, in September of 1978, they began abducting girls in California and Nevada to serve as their sex slaves. Their first 2 victims were 17-year-old Rhonda Scheffler and 16-year-old Kippy Vaught, both of whom Gallego shot dead following an apparent tryst with them in a secluded wooded area. In all, by November 1980, the couple had racked up 10 victims, all teenagers, most of whom that they had kept as sex slaves before murdering them.
It's insane.
A friend of the last 2 victims, Craig Miller, 22, and his fiancée, Mary Elizabeth Sowers, saw the couple get into Gallego's vehicle and wrote down its license plate number. At a remote location, Gallego shot Miller, killing him, before he and Williams drove to another location where he sexually assaulted and then murdered Sowers. When Miller and Sowers didn't return home, the witness gave Gallego's license number to the police. Convicted of the murders of Miller and Sowers, Gallego was sentenced to death on June 25th, 1984. For testifying against him, Williams received a 16-year sentence and 8 months and was paroled in 1997 in August. That's crazy.
Because some people are so just in tune with narcissists and sociopaths that they will just bow down to him and do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
Yeah, that looks like a weird couple. Yeah. Georgia State Mortuary. You stab them, we slab them. Looks like an 80s version of the Moors murders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does.
Oh yeah. And even like the Rosemary and Fred West.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of them right now. Yeah.
Rosemary and Fred West.
Mm-hmm. Did we did.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
We've talked about them. We could touch base on them again. They were Interesting.
There's a few we need to read.
So this is Richard Marquette. And this is number 1 on our list.
Does he have my ears? No, he doesn't. My ears.
You do not have ears like that.
Wait, no. Hold on.
No, my dad has ears like that.
There you go.
No.
Now I do.
Now you look like Opie.
I do have big ears.
You look like Opie when you do that. All right. So, although cannibal serial killer Richard Marquette chopped up and froze his victims, saving them to eat later, and his fellow inmates believed he'd kill again, he was found fit for parole after serving 12 years of his sentence. Shortly after his release, guess what?
He committed additional murders.
Yep, he committed additional murders. His first victim was Joan Ray Cottle, 23. He said he'd met her in Portland, Oregon at a bar on June 4th or 5th, 1961. He strangled her when they argued after having consensual sex. He chopped her up and to make it easier to dispose of the remains. So arrested on June 30th, he was convicted in December, sentenced to life in prison, paroled after serving 12. He killed again, but this time the murder went undetected. He wasn't as lucky when he murdered and dissected Betty Wilson, age 37, in Salem, Washington. He was then sentenced to life in prison again.
And that's it.
That's all, guys.
What's crazy though, like that's something my stupid ex would do. Argue after consensual sex. How do you get an argument after consensual sex? Only sociopaths and narcissists do that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't what I wanted to argue with you.
Those are some good hang gliders.
Yeah.
Some big hang gliders. Yeah, it's pretty scary, actually.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. She looks like Uncle Holy Cow. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
All right. With his big ears, at least he'll be able to hear the sentence as they put him down.
You know what they say about a man with big ears? They can hear everything, you perverts.
I don't think I was even like... I don't even know what I was like.
The bunnies of chaos are coming for you. The bunnies of chaos are coming for you.
Good morning!
Oh, man.
They got us.
They got us.
They got us. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. It's been fun. We really appreciate you guys. And you know what? I'm going to show off the merch before we take off. Where's the merch? Where's the merch? Voodoo ad right there?
Do you want to cover Shawcross next week? Because now we're back to...
I don't think we should announce what we're going to cover yet. Just...
Shawcross is definitely going to be up there. I do
want
to
revisit
Shawcross because it wasn't that good of an episode, especially with the person we had on there.
Thank you. Dumbo had big ears.
Yeah, Dumbo did.
Yes. All right. So we're going to play the ad and then we're going to go.
Later, guys.
Bye.
Who's that kid? In that booth? His mom told me about one time, and then he tried to kill my ass. Who's that kid? What's his name? I think he's selling heroin to the kids with the brains. It's usually all I step inside. Mirrors in the living provide a setting for the drink I order.
In my